Of course, I think images is one of the most important thing. I always say the customer can't touch your item, they have to see the quality and how good it is through the picture. It's very important that you have better pictures than your competition.
Hey everyone, this is Nazar Akil from Max Pro.
Hi, I'm Linda.
And I'm Paul.
And we're 11 Pebbles.
Hi, this is Lopa Vandermersch from Rasa.
And you're listening to
And you are listening to the E-Comm Show.
Welcome to the E-Comm Show, presented by BlueTuskr, the #1 place to hear the inside scoop from other e-commerce experts, where they share their secrets on how they scaled their business and are now living the dream. Now, here is your host, Andrew Math.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the E-Comm Show. I am here with Hymie Zebede. Hymie, I'm super excited to have you on the show. You ready for a good show?
I'm very excited. What's going on,
This is
Andrew?
gonna be great. We're getting super deep into Amazon stuff, right? I know that's probably what we're doing today, I assume.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Life.
All right. So let's start this off. I love giving you the opportunity to just kind of tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your background, and we'll kick it off from there. Okay.
For sure. I've been selling on Amazon as long as I can remember. It's, about 12 years now. I've always been doing private label. Started off doing clothing, and I had, thank God, a lot of success with it. And I had a few listings, and they would just build them up into monster listings. Like I lived off that. I bought my house from it for many years. Maybe like 4 or 5 listings, and then I started messing up a little with the sourcing. I didn't really know sourcing well. I knew Amazon very well. I learned from a seller, a top 5 seller. He was doing over 100 million a year. He taught me a lot, so I owe a lot to him. But I didn't know the sourcing. So like I brought in a container of goods once, and the leggings, they smell like fish. So I got screwed on that one.
Geez.
Yeah, and then I brought in jeans. The sizing was off. I didn't know quality control and things like that. So I ended up selling my brand and my Amazon account. And for the past 5 years, I've been partnering up with people that they have a lot of stock and merchandise, and they just don't know how Amazon works. They think you could just list something on Amazon, but they don't know the ins and outs of the algorithm and like what signals to send to Amazon. So I've been building up for people like very successful listings. I don't focus on so many listings at once. I try to make them very, very strong, like all into home runs.
Okay, nice. So you actually got into apparel, which is a complicated area to get into, especially in the beginning there. So and you also mentioned you were private label, which is even more complicated because you're kind of developing a brand there. What was that whole beginning step like? Like what made you get into apparel, and how were you able to scale that on Amazon alone?
So I was working in retail stores. And for a few years, I was managing stores and driving to the Bronx, Harlem, Queens, like every day, multiple stores. And I saw that they had a lot of merchandise. So I asked them if I can take some on consignment, and I'll pay them in 60 days, 90 days. So I started doing that. And in the beginning, I tried a lot of different listings, and it wasn't working well. Like, I was just little here, little there, like sending in small quantities to Amazon. And then I saw one listing started to do very well. So I just went full force in that one listing and bought a lot of stock. And my pictures were like horrible at the time. It was much different than today.
Yeah.
But, it was like all pixelated, but like it just started selling well. And I've been like talking to Amazon sellers daily and in all the forums and in all the groups and just all day, just learning Amazon. And yeah, I got rid of all the bad styles that were wasting my time, and I focused on the good ones, and I just started building them up very strong. PPC, and then I started getting better into the SEO, and it just all started taking off from there.
Nice. So I know that you started your own business more or less. Do you consider it like a consultancy or kind of an agency more on the Amazon side?
I don't really consider myself an agency, just because when I work with clients, it's me working directly with them.
Mm-hmm.
So they have my personal cell number. I'll send people screenshots at midnight, like, look at this, look at this. I get excited about it, which
Yeah.
is why I have to be very selective about like who I work with, um, because there's only so many hours in a day, and I have a few people helping me. But yeah, I need to focus. I need to work with people who they have a lot of inventory, and they understand the budget needed to really build up something strong. Like I'm in it for the big wins. I'm not in it for just getting something selling decent.
Yeah. So is a majority, are you still selling yourself, or are you focused on this new business that's essentially consulting for Amazon sellers?
So I don't sell my own products that I own, but I basically am, because I'm doing product research, I'm doing competitor research, I'm tracking the organic keywords, I'm creating campaigns, I'm editing campaigns, I'm A/B testing images.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm a seller. I consider myself a seller because
Yeah.
I'm selling the goods. I just don't get all the, I don't get all the
Yep.
money at the end, but I build
I got
people
you.
very strong listings. So
So
definitely a
what?
seller.
So if someone comes to you, they want to work with you. What is your approach? Like, what do you typically see as, okay, this is the biggest problem that most Amazon sellers are making? Or what is it, that you come in and immediately go, okay, chances are I need to clean this up. Like, what is your approach like, and what are most of the common problems?
So what I first do is I see a lot of people, they're not tracking the organic keywords on their listing. Like, they're not seeing where they're placed on Amazon search results without the PPC. And
Mm-hmm.
when they're doing PPC also, they're not seeing how it affects the organic keywords. Or, like, for example, I got a client, and he was working with a PPC agency, and they were like spending an enormous amount of money on a single word. But then I noticed the word isn't in the title, the bullets, or in the description. It wasn't in the back end, and it was like a little part of the word was, but not like in the phrase. And I added it in
Mm-hmm.
the phrase, and it made a very big difference. Like, all these little things. And like, I look at the overall picture. You don't want to advertise on items that have bad review average, or you don't want to advertise on an item that has a very high price. Like, people aren't going to want to buy that unless it's justified. So like, I look at everything together. I'll tell the guy, we got to enroll in Vine, we got to request reviews on every order. Your price is too high, or like, we have to see. Really, it's an overall picture of what's going on. But a lot of people don't look at the organic ranking, and like, I had a guy who his sales were down tremendously, and he didn't know why. And years ago, he was doing so well, and he didn't know what happened, and they just continued to do what they were doing. And I looked, and I saw 2 years ago they were in the top 5 spot for the main keyword, for a few main keywords. And I think they ran out of stock, and they just dropped off, and they never paid attention to it again. And it was like that main keyword was driving all their sales, but they weren't. Like, you have to really dig into all the data.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think a lot of
What
people dig into it.
what's so you think that a majority of the issue is that people don't really focus that much on organic, which I can completely agree with, because you get a lot of people that assume that paid advertising is the only thing you can do. So you had also mentioned, though, that you kind of optimize the listings, clean things up. Do you do anything with the product images or the A plus content or their storefront or anything like that to kind of visually give the product a little bit more insight? Because I know that the improved conversion rate, as well as, which obviously brings in more sales and more reviews, et cetera, can obviously help with the organic side of things. So do you have any input or anything that you usually suggest for sellers for the visual aspect?
Of course, I think images is one of the most important thing. I always say the customer, they can't touch your item. They have to see the quality and how good it is through the picture. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very important that you have better pictures than your competition. And I always suggest A/B testing the images, seeing which works best. Even before you put it on Amazon, like before. Like, I don't know, like, you could do experiments on Amazon and switch it around, but also there's third party websites, PickFu and things like that, where you can test it out and just see what image is better. And always ask other people. But images are huge. I think every client that I work with, we end up having to fix some images around.
Yeah. You mentioned PickFu, very familiar. So I imagine you're using that pretty much from an A/B testing standpoint, obviously, until you put it up onto the platform.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
Okay.
I want to see what people like. I don't want to waste money and spend on ads and things like that. Every day that it's on Amazon, we have to make sales. We can't if we're showing if Amazon's not seeing the sales, we're hurting ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. What's the rest of your tech stack look like? Like with your organic tracking and paid ads and all this other stuff, obviously everyone's got their favorites for different platforms and software and apps and all that fun stuff they like to use. What's your kind of go-to stuff that you're using?
Um, I love Helium 10. I use Helium 10 all day, every day. Like that's my
Yeah.
a lot of times I'll speak to people and they're like, and I'm like, okay, what's your Helium 10 login? And they're like, I don't have Helium 10. I'm like, how are you tracking? Are you tracking your keywords? Like you're not tracking your keywords. How do you know? And they say, oh, I search it in the search bar. But like you can't, you need to see you need to see what's going on. I raised the price and I lost a little rank, or maybe I was able to raise the price and I didn't lose rank on the keyword, and now you could sell it at a better price, or we're running a deal. I want to see how the deal affected the keyword. So important.
Yeah.
I always use Helium 10.
Yeah, that's typically our go-to as well. And it's funny you say that of like people who search it and then just try to do it that way. Cause I've
Yeah.
realized that most sellers don't notice this, but Amazon has a relatively similar algorithm that Google has in the case of if you search a certain term and you start looking through product and you don't interact, you do nothing. If you search that term again, there's a good amount of times where the products will change. And it's because A, obviously their organic rankings are constantly fluctuating, but B, if you didn't interact with anything, Amazon thinks that, okay, what you just searched isn't what you were looking for. So we're going to show you new stuff. So I find sellers who will search their own search term. They're like, why aren't we in the first page? I'm like, you are for normal people, but you're the ones searching the same thing, not making an order. So Amazon thinks that you're not interested in anything that they're showing you. So I completely agree. Like, we'll use Helium 10 because we're Helium 10 partners, and we actually are you going to their they're calling it S3. What is it? Sell scale and sell and scale summit or something like that they're having this year.
I'm not sure yet, but maybe I'll go now if you're going to go there.
Oh, I'm going. I'm totally going because it's in Vegas. You can't not go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Every excuse, I'll take it. But what about so from a Helium 10 perspective, they have that Chrome extension that you like click and it tells you like the ranking on the of the listing and all that fun stuff. Do you kind of use that as your guide for cleaning up everything?
I definitely use that, so I can see all the BSRs on the search page, and also, let's say I'm doing competitor research. I want to see what has the most reviews with variations. I can see, how each variation is doing, and there's the keyword button where I could instantly pull the keywords. I'll do
Yeah.
it from the Chrome extension and also from the main website.
Yeah.
It's
Nice.
just a very important tool. You got to look at all the words. You got all the data. That's how you do it.
Are you helping sellers with finding additional products to add into their product line, or are you solely focused on whatever it is they have? That's what you're helping with.
So I don't offer that as a service where use me to do product research for you.
Yeah.
But when I'm working with people, they'll send me competitors and I'll look through it, or they'll tell me, Hymie, I'm sending you an email. Here's 10 items. Let me know what you think. And I'll look at it and I'll say, okay, this is a good item. We need to have X amount of colors, or this is a good item. We need to start off at this price in the beginning because we need to rack up reviews quickly. And I'll help the people that I work with. I for sure help them with that, but I don't offer that as a service.
Yeah. What are you doing for kind of ongoing optimization? It's a common question that I tend to get about like once you've optimized a listing and you're pretty confident with all the terms you're using and everything's filled out and things are up and running. What's your approach on how to continuously make sure that you're gathering data and adjusting the listings?
So I'm always pulling new keywords on a fresh search to see like what's going on, and if there's new, especially on the competition, to see if there's new trending words that are related to my product that I need to add in. If I'm not ranked for a keyword well, I'll rearrange it. I'll put it in the beginning of the bullets. I'll put it in the beginning of the title, things like that. But if a keyword is working well for me, like I never remove it. Like I get like
Yeah.
horrified from, if I'm ranked good for a keyword, I'm not moving that keyword. I'll build
Yeah.
around that keyword. If there's a long phrase term that with the main term built into it, like I'll use that. But if it's not broke,
Yeah.
don't fix it. But there's always things I could add. There's always things you could add in the description and the bullets and things like that. But the main
Mhm.
keywords I try to not really touch unless it's not
Yeah.
working.
All right, so let's play a little game, kind of. So there's a ton of pet peeves I have, and there's a lot of opinions on whether these things work yet or not. So tell me your opinion. Let's do let's see. First thing, emojis in the bullet points. Yay or nay?
I don't like it. I don't like it at
Yeah.
all. Amazon tells you they don't like it either. I've experimented a little bit with it, and
Mhm.
I had a listing that was not indexed. I don't know if this is definitive proof, but I had a listing that was not indexed for a lot of things, and I removed the guy's emojis, and all of a sudden it started indexing and ranking for those
Really?
terms.
That's
Yeah, so
nuts.
but a lot of times
Good.
I'll
I
tell
hope
people,
Amazon is suppressing people if they've got emojis. They
a
should
lot of
be.
times I'll tell people like remove your emoji and things like that, and they don't want to do it. But I definitely don't recommend it. Like I never build listings with emojis.
Yeah. All right. So still on bullet points. Um, I don't know how to explain it. Like a lot of people, you'll see like the first phrase or the first sentence is like all caps, and then they'll just do a regular sentence. So if it's like high quality, and then they'll something, they're like durable, and then they'll do this. Like, do you do that, or do you just kind of do bullet points naturally? What's your approach there?
So again, Amazon, they don't want you to do caps like that. I do
Mm-hmm.
start the bullets with the main keywords.
Yeah.
I'll do a main keyword dash, and I'll make it into a nice sentence where it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look spammy. But I don't like to do, I like to follow what Amazon's saying. Besides for whatever, a few things like putting extra key. I like to put a lot of keywords in different spaces, but I don't like
Yeah.
to the HTML. There's a lot of things that can mess it up, I think.
Yeah. It's funny the way you just said that is you like to do what Amazon's saying, because there's so many times where we'll work with sellers and they'll be like, we want to do this. Be like, well, Amazon actually publicizes that you shouldn't do this. And be like, yeah, but what do they know? Be like, well, it's their business. Like, they're
Yeah,
going to know if it's working or not. All right, let's do one more. Alt text behind A plus content imagery. Is it indexed and benefits your organic ranking or not?
he's saying in the like when you're making EBC, like the alt text part.
Yeah. So when you input imagery, you have the alt text in the back end, and also depending on if you're just doing one of the blocks that actually has the ability to put copy in there, is that copy indexed and helps you with your organic ranking?
Yes.
You think it is?
Yeah, where you put it in fill out the alt text box for sure. And
Yeah.
also, I fill in the description box also, even if I'm using EBC and even if it's not visible, they're giving you 2,000 characters to fill in. Like, why would you leave it blank?
Yeah, no, that I agree with. The product description that you input, I know is completely indexed, but your opinion is also that the A plus content copy that you use, as well as the alt text behind those images, is also indexed and helps your organic ranking.
So I never A/B tested it, but I put it in because I don't think it's going to hurt me at all. If anything, it'll they're telling you to do it. It'll help improve it. I don't think it's going to hurt
Yeah.
me.
So okay, that's a good way to look at that. So I got into it with someone on LinkedIn. I can't remember who it was, but Amazon publicizes that the alt text behind your images on A plus content is not ranked. Like it doesn't help your ranking. However, what they also say in another article is the things that does help your listing, right? And the basics are obviously, sales rank, which is typically because you're getting a good amount of sales and reviews and all that stuff. And the alt text is normally, at least from a traditional website perspective, is there for people with disabilities so that the image can be described to them. And
Oh, wow.
so if those people are shopping, they're more likely to purchase from you, thus increasing your organic ranking. So I don't think that alt text is indexed to the point where you should keyword stuff the back of it, and it sounds ridiculous. But I think that providing a good experience for the customer that is about to be hopefully shopping on your listing is all you have to do, and then you'll rank just fine.
For sure. And like you said, if you said it's helping certain people, like every sale counts. You know what I mean? Why would
Yeah.
I leave it empty?
Yeah, completely agree. So, all right. So now, what about some of the, I don't want to call it black hat, but like some of the gray areas with Amazon? So, there's a lot of people that have theories around you do a search for your product, you take that URL, you do off Amazon traffic and tell people to buy this certain product, and hopefully it's right at the top there because you're running your ads, and it's supposed to help your organic ranking because it looks like people have searched your product when in reality you're just running paid ads to that search result. Have you done anything crazy weird? Like there's so many sellers out there that do like these tiny little things so that they can get like one extra percentage point, when I feel like there's so much more work that you could do outside of that to benefit. But what's your theory on some of those little tips and tricks that people have kind of been preaching?
Listen, so like I said, I've been in this for over a decade, so I know all of these tricks. Some of them work, but you don't know how long they're going to work. You don't know when Amazon's going to penalize you for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the best way, like make sure you have a good listing. Like check everything. Use all the tools Amazon gives you. If instead of doing something like that, you can start off at a nice low price, at an aggressive price, and just to rack up the sales like that. Why do you need to do black hat things where Amazon, maybe it works a little
Yeah.
bit now, and then in a few months they're going to start. They sent out an email. I think October 17th. I remember I got an email to the thing like, we are not allowing people to search manipulate and do search find buys and things like that. Like if they're
Mm-hmm.
cracking down, why are you going to mess with it? You can make so much money on Amazon,
Oh yeah,
and
and
and you can build it
it's
up.
risky.
Yeah, you don't want to. They don't care who they suspend. There's
Yeah,
nobody big. They'll suspend anyone. They don't care how much money you're bringing them, because the next guy underneath you is going to go right up, and they're not losing money. They don't care. They
that's a
just
good
want to
point.
give the buyer a good, safe marketplace.
Yeah, that's a very strong point. I mean, there's a lot of, I can think of off the top of my head 4 8-figure plus sellers that were suspended for at least 2 weeks for either A, doing something dumb like that and Amazon flagged them and just basically suspended them for a little while, and then another one was just ridiculous. The guy, his credit card was just about to expire for his advertising, so he just switched out his credit card, and Amazon, some reason, flagged it as fraudulent and shut his whole account down for like 2 weeks. And he was solely focused on Amazon, so his business was basically shut down for 2 weeks. What's your theory on diversifying outside of Amazon in case stuff like that happens?
Definitely good to diversify. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Amazon is huge, you can make so much money. I was once suspended years ago, and the reason was I had a buyer message go out to all the people that bought from me, and it said, "Thank you so much for shopping with us. Here's a 10% off coupon towards your next purchase." Because I wanted to get repeat customers, and it was working. I was getting a lot more sales, but at the end of it, I said, "And please leave us an honest review." I said, "Please leave us an honest review." And I got suspended. I got a phone call from Amazon. I was on vacation with my family. I got a phone call. "Hi, you are doing review manipulation. When we hang up this phone call, your account is going to be suspended." And I was like, "No, please, no." I was like freaking out because what did I do wrong? I didn't know what I did wrong. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? And then I figured it out. It was buyer seller. They said because I had the word. Leave us a review, because I told them leave us a review, and I also had a coupon code in the same email, in the same message, that was considered incentivized. But for me, I was telling them like, "Thank you for shopping with us. Here's a coupon towards your next purchase, just to everyone, and if you'd like, leave us an honest review." It wasn't depending, but
Took it as an incentive. That sucks.
yeah. So I was suspended for like a month. It was horrible. My income, so definitely it's good to diversify, because you never know. Even even like you said with the credit card issue, like create like little things. It's all bots, you don't.
Yeah. I wish
Yeah,
Amazon would develop like, even if it was like a 3-strike policy towards things that you might be doing wrong, but you don't know. They always get so mad when they're like, "Oh, you can't do this." Like, how am I supposed to know that when
yeah,
you
because they're
don't?
warning.
You have your all
Little
of your
information.
information. All the information you put out is kind of vague, and it's like it's not as specific as you'd like it to be. It's spread out all over the internet. It's on like 6 different support websites, so you never really know like which one you're supposed to follow. But they'll suspend you in a second if you're doing
Crazy.
something wrong, and you're like, I don't even know why. Like, what am I doing wrong?
It's ridiculous that they don't help
Uh,
you. They don't. If you teach us what we're doing wrong, so we don't do it
yeah,
wrong again. Don't make it a guessing game.
yeah. Did you see? They're releasing this. I saw this about a month ago. They're releasing this functionality, or at least right now they're testing it, and they just tested it with the PlayStation, that you can actually give invite only access to customers. So sellers can actually get a code, and let's say they have an email list and they want to do a brand new product launch. They can actually do an invite only code for people who can place orders before it's released to the public. And essentially it's kind of, to me, it's like a pre-order option. It's also kind of a cool like product launch option. Have you have you started to see anything about that, or anyone testing that yet?
I haven't, but I'd love for you to send me the link after this podcast. I definitely want to look into that now.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's pretty cool because I saw, so they released that, and then I just did I did a podcast yesterday with Privy, and I was talking to them too about they're releasing now the buy with Prime button. So you can actually take the JavaScript code from your listing, put it onto your D2C website. So let's assume
Yeah.
Shopify, and it will actually link to your Amazon. So it will actually allow people to purchase your product from your website, and then it will actually ship via Prime from Amazon. So it's kind of like merchant fulfilled, except it takes you directly to Amazon to purchase. So all of these websites that are like D2C, where you can only buy with the website, are now going to start offering these options where, screw it, just go straight to Amazon because we know you're doing it anyway. And then you can get the product in 2 days. So Amazon's doing a great job of just grabbing that off Amazon traffic and just doing what they can to pull in more people.
They're taking over. They're really taking over.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Cool, man. So, all right. So let's assume someone wants to work with you. I know you mentioned you're relatively selective with the sellers you work with. So what defines a good seller for you to work with?
So they don't necessarily have to be such a big seller in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to want to get big. I don't want them to, I don't want somebody who, I want to do a few sales a month just playing around. Like we're not here to play around. If you believe in Amazon and you see what the competition is doing and you see how much money could be made, let's go for that. Let's go for the gold. You have to have a nice amount of stock. You can't send in 6 units of something, 12 units. You're gonna run PPC. You're gonna sell out. You're gonna kill the whole snowball effect. It has to be like somebody who really wants to build it up, and I'll guide them the right way, and let's build it up strong from the beginning.
Yeah, I completely agree. Awesome. Hymie, really appreciate having you on the show. I would love to give you a second here and just let everyone know where they can find out more about you, more about your business, and we'll wrap things up from here, okay?
For sure. No, it was great being on the show. Also, I love this. You can find me on LinkedIn, Hymie Zebede, and also on my website, hymiezebede.com. And you can email me at hymiezebede.com. Easy to remember.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. I mean, thank you so much for being on the show. Everyone who tuned in, as usual, thank you so much as well. Please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on whichever podcast platform you want, YouTube, or head over to theecommshow.com to see all of our other episodes. But per usual, thanks again for joining us, and we will see you all next time. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ecomm Show. Head over to ecommshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The Ecomm Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of The E-Comm Show.